students, some of the most vulnerable Americans in the country. There is no other way to describe this than cruel and attacking particularly children. I don't understand the motivation. Even if you don't believe in the rights of the LGBT community, why would you focus on hurting children who are suffering? It has been documented. And people may or may not want to argue Title IX and whether it covers it or not, and that's a legal discussion. But this is about human beings, children.
Kayleigh, why on day 32 of the new presidency did the Trump administration feel the need to do this?
Because it has nothing to do with hurting children. Look, I agree with President Trump entirely when he said he doesn't mind if Caitlyn Jenner uses the same restroom as him. I don't mind that either. However, President Trump believes that this is a states issue that should be taken up by the states, and also he I assume, is taking into consideration the rights of women. There were a group of sexual assault victims who came out in Seattle against the Washington transgender law, saying that we're not worried about transgender individuals coming into our bathroom. However, we are worried about men coming into the bathroom and taking advantage of this law. And in fact, they were right. When a man walked into a locker room in the Seattle Parks and Services and undressed in front of little girls who were changing before swim practice, there are security concerns, which is why we should allow the states.
Right? I mean,
no, it's entirely
that's not
tied
a trans. But let's be clear here. That's not a transgender man who walked in there. And are there?
No, and that's why I said it's not about transgender individuals. It's about people taking advantage of it.
Wait. People who are rapists and sexual predators take care of any loophole at any moment they can. They'll tragically attract children on the street, come up behind women on the street. This isn't about sexual predators. It is about equality for transgender students. And states' rights is always what people who are attempting to discriminate fall back on, and we're not. No, I haven't.
You just made the case.
No, I did not.
You just made the case for exactly why this law needs to be looked at hesitantly, because as you just said, sexual predators will take advantage of any law, which is why we have to treat this with care.
But does that one incident that you're referring to of somebody who was interested in exposing himself or sexual assault, does that eclipse the protections that teenagers in high schools felt
and
that they have?
And if you follow that school of thought, you would block people of different genders from any place of rape.
It's more than one incident. Look at the fact when Target put this policy into place. There were multiple cases of voyeurism. You can find there are at least 21 instances of times that people took advantage of the law and preyed on women.
Okay, let me bring in Anna Navarro.
And that is not a fact.
Anna, what do you think?
Look, I think, frankly, it hurts me to hear the word sexual predator used in the midst of this discussion. Transgender people are just like me and you.
I didn't call
I am a Republican. I'm a Republican. Okay, can I please finish?
Yeah.
I'm a Republican. I am 100% in favor of LGBTQ rights. I think they have the same exact rights that I do to love, to marry, to live in liberty, and to piss as I do, wherever they want and wherever they feel it. I actually have friends who are transgender. In fact, one of them, his name is Rodrigo Lehtinen. He also happens to be the son of the Republican congresswoman from my district. I asked him yesterday, how do you feel about this? He said it's a clear message from the White House that they don't have the back of LGBTQ youth, particularly not transgender, the most frail amongst us. It's very difficult to be a teenager in any event. Look, I would encourage President Trump to speak to Jackie Ivanko, the young woman who sang at his inaugural, who's got a transgender sister, and tweeted him yesterday asking for a meeting, to meet with Rodrigo Lehtinen, the son of Congresswoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. Ask them what the solution should be. Ask them how to go about it. And let's not start talking about sexual deviants and predators. Sexuality does not equal morality. They're completely different situations, completely different. conversations. It is unfair to target these kids who are already bullied, who are already so fragile with such words and such discussion.
And I want to quickly
we are
correct the
talking
record.
about human beings.
I want to quickly correct the record because you took me out of context entirely. I said transgender individuals.
Kayleigh,
I am not worried about them preying on women. I am worried about men taking advantage of this, straight men coming in and preying on women, which has happened multiple times at Target. You have to consider the rights of sexual assault victims, too, who have come out
you
strongly
always make
against
this argument. You know, we talk about immigration. You find the most horrific case about a criminal, you know, and you try to paint it with a broad brushstroke. We're talking about transgender youth, and you find some horrific case involving a sexual predator.
There are many.
Not
there
a
are
transgender. And you try to paint it with a broad brush.
But they've been attacking people with or without transgender
Correct.
rights. I mean, sexual predators will, as you say, will find any excuse. So it does feel like you're introducing that level of sexual deviance into this. But really, this is a conversation about whether or not these laws do protect transgender
And wait, I
teenagers.
want to jump in for a second because Kayleigh, you do this repeatedly, as do other Trump supporters. You don't say, you say something, imply something, and say you're not saying it. We're talking about transgender children today. You're a lawyer. If you want to debate Title IX, we can have that debate. But you, as Anna said, bring up sexual predators. So people will leave this segment and they'll have heard two things. Transgenders, and you do it, and the Trump supporters do it to create smoke screens, to substantiate and validate their discrimination, and we need to call the Trump supporters on it. It's pivot, and it's discrimination.
Christine, when I categorically began this segment saying I have no problem with Caitlyn Jenner using the same restroom as me, and you're saying that I've implied some... Wait, please, I let you speak. I categorically said I do not if a transgender person uses the restroom with me. However, we have to be considerate of young women who had to see a man take advantage of the law in Washington and come into his bathroom.
That's what's happening more than that transgender teenagers felt protected.
This is why states should settle the issue, because states are the laboratories for experimentation. Some states might adopt this law. Great, let's see how it works out. Some states might not. They are the laboratories for experimentation.
Okay, I want to bring up Betsy DeVos. Betsy DeVos, hold on one second, Christine, because Betsy DeVos it's very interesting, the reporting that CNN has about Betsy DeVos's reaction to this. The new Secretary of Education, Anna, we understand from our sources, did not want the Trump administration to do this and to roll back these protections. And she made her feelings known to Attorney General Jeff Sessions. And basically, our reporting suggests that she was told, get on board, and to the president, get on board or basically get out. You can resign, but this is what your department, the Department of Education, this is the directive will be coming from your department. And in fact, she got on board. So that sounds as though there's even some dissent within the White House about this program, Anna.
Well, I mean, I could see where Jeff Sessions and Betsy DeVos would have completely different philosophies and ideologies on an issue like this. I would say to Betsy DeVos, girlfriend, you went through a really, really tough time getting yourself nominated and appointed and confirmed. Find your voice and use it. You are a billionaire. You don't need to put up with this. You know, if you're going to do this, do it because of conviction. Do it because of principle. Follow your heart. Follow your conscience and speak up. We need to hear diversity of opinions in a place like the Cabinet Room. I think it sets a very dangerous precedent for the increasing power of Jeff Sessions. And if they ran over her this time and she didn't speak, if she doesn't find her line and stand up straight, that woman's going to have railroad tracks all over her before the next 4 years.
Kayleigh, and just one thing, Kayleigh, you're going to be speaking to Betsy DeVos today. You're going to CPAC. You're going to be interviewing her. This might come up.
It might come up, but I think, look, this is the beauty of the Trump administration. He allows people to have their own opinion. She voiced, you know,
But does he? I mean, it sounds like that they did tell her get on board or get out.
But look, she put out a statement that might hint at disagreement.
I have it right here. Let me read it. We have a responsibility, she says, to protect every student in America and ensure that they have the freedom to learn and thrive in a safe and trusted environment. That does sound like strong language, but then she says, this is not merely a federal mandate, but a moral obligation. No individual school district or state can abdicate. But yet, the protections are rolled back.
Look, it can be interpreted in two ways. Either she disagrees or she's just reaffirming we do have discrimination laws in place. LGBT people are protected in this country. Let's leave it to the states. But I think that's the beauty of the Trump administration. She's allowed to put out a statement. She's allowed to express her opinion, and he's fully accepting of that.
I just want to say, make sure, Kayleigh, you just said LGBT people are protected in this country. There is no federal law that prevents discrimination in housing, employment, or public accommodation for LGBT people. So remember, these children are not protected.